Hey guys, it's Samuel Larsen here, and I wanted to clarify something because I see that there's a lot of misconception about what CRO really is, and people don't seem to get it. It's some people think it's just A/B testing. Some people think it's just doing these like tiny changes to the page and like getting magical miracle results because of that. And while CRO is definitely about growth, oftentimes these two concepts, CRO and growth hacking, they are confused together because they're pretty close, but it's definitely not the same thing. Now, with CRO, definitely the first priority is growth, but it's also about so much more. And one other major thing that we need to keep in mind is mainly about understanding your customers better. And it's good that this growth mindset and understanding your customers better, these go well together. So they really fit between each other. Now, the goal of CRO, in my opinion, in my experience, is pure market leadership. So you're looking to have something that is so awesome in the front end that you are able to pay more to acquire customers. Because we know, like, he who can acquire customers the cheapest is the one who wins. So if you have an offer, if you have a product, if you have a site that really works together well to acquire this, then you're in a really great position. Just think about it. If you are converting at a better rate, you can pay more for the traffic. You know that the backend works better, etc. So like your backend offers, etc. So you have a lot of confidence in paying for the traffic. You know that your customer lifetime value will be higher. Basically, you make more money on every single step. And who wouldn't like that? Now, with regards to learning, there is always conversations going on inside the visitor's mind. And the better we can read these conversations, the better we can be. But of course, in reality, nobody really has a crystal ball, and nobody can know exactly what will work 100% of the time. And that's why we need testing. So we cannot just go to one of these sites like whichtest1.com or something and pick like 100 test winners, implement them all, and have a perfect site. Or copy what Amazon is doing, because these are just best practices. And oftentimes best practices are just common practices. So even there, like we might be tempted to go wrong in the beginning. Because there's nothing that universally always works. Because nothing works 100% of the time, ever. So for every best practice you will find, I could show you probably 10 tests where it failed. Because I see this all the time. Like, we thought this would be good because of this, and this. It worked for this, and this. But yet, it doesn't work for us. Which is both confusing and frustrating. But sites, audiences, etc., they're incredibly complex entities. So that's why what works here doesn't necessarily work there. So best practices, they work usually, but not everywhere. So with CRO, we must stop thinking in just tactics. And instead of thinking tactics, let's start thinking in processes. Because process is something you can replicate. It's something ongoing, and it's something that once you handle that, can bring you results over and over again. And reality of conversion optimization is that it's very humbling. You won't get many wins like consistently, but sometimes you do get big wins, and it's a really nice thing. But it's definitely not as easy as people think. And if you've been doing this for a while, you know that a lot of your ideas fail. And oftentimes the ideas that fail are actually the same ideas that you were most confident in the beginning. So this is common, and this is normal. Because even when world-class experts, the so-called best of the best, they try to predict winners of tests, and really they only get it right around half the time, maybe 2/3 of the time, like just a slightly better than flipping a coin. So if you're thinking about that, like that's pretty terrible. So you go to the best expert and he's wrong like 1/3 of the time. That's not nearly good enough to just trust opinions. So that's why we need to stop guessing. And especially we need to stop liking our own ideas so damn much. We need to separate ourselves and our ego from our opinions and actually like think what's best for the business and seek to prove these things. Because if experts, if they're not better than that, you aren't either. So introduce a little bit of humbleness into the process and you'll do a lot better. And this is why we turn our like so-called unsupported opinions, or some people say hypothesis, but I don't really like to use that word anymore because it's like too scientific. We are here to make money, not science. But we want to turn these opinions into data-informed assumptions. So they're backed up by something. And when we do this, we can actually move away from just randomly guessing things and focus instead of guessing to knowing. So this is what's happening, and now we understand why things are happening. Now, if we come from this basic set point and start optimizing from here, we are way more likely to actually see wins because now it's based on something. And the more things, more evidence there is, the better. So what you really need to understand is optimization is not sexy, so to say. It's a damn grind. You're there every day thinking like, how could I make this site better? How can I take this company forward? And this like things like this. You do this like over and over again. It's a business as usual activity. You are doing it like daily, weekly, monthly. So that is like the loop. You're in a sense like you're in a loop. You're grinding it out. So you set goals, you set up measurements, gather data, analyze data, turn that data into insights. Then you take those insights, you go and you prioritize assumptions based on those. You test those assumptions. You get data from the tests. You back that with analysis. You analyze what's wrong, why is this result this way. And round we go, over and over again. It never stops. Now, the goal, of course, we know when we do this, we know the specific impact of every single idea. We are measuring it after all. So we know with certainty, are people more likely to convert or are they less likely to convert? Or at least we know with 95% certainty, because getting to 100% confidence with testing is near impossibility. All right. Eventually, once we do this, we start understanding our customers and we start having great models, because we have tested so many assumptions that now we have a good idea. And because there is always a path that the user is taking. So there are always things that we can improve and always goals that we can do better at. So we need to know what we want to improve. We need to have those goals up there and we need to measure stuff constantly. So make sure that before you start anything else that you have goals set up, at least for all key actions, purchase, lead generation, etc., whatever it is. And you also absolutely need to have funnels set up, because without measurement, you have nothing. You're again just guessing. And guessing is something we absolutely don't want to do. So with analytics, that gives us a roadmap. Where are the biggest leaks? And where should we start optimizing? Where is the site losing money? These kind of things. Like if you don't have analytics, you're just randomly going to like maybe product 275. This could be a good product to optimize first. Like that's ridiculous. So don't just do things randomly. Have some pride in what you're doing. All right. Hope that helped. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to subscribe for more rants in the future, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.